we are going to be spending our time learning how to make what I think is the biggest money in real estate today, and most certainly the easiest money, and that's dealing with pretty houses in beautiful neighborhoods, creating terms with sellers to get in so we can offer terms to buyers to get out. And in fact, it's a whole industry within the industry. It's an industry that most people aren't even aware of, and even those who think they're aware of it really aren't aware of it. Everybody knows what a lease option is or owner financing. They don't know how to properly use it, they don't know how to negotiate it, and they don't even know how to offer it to the public and get the biggest bang for their buck. I'm going to show you how anybody in this room or outside of this room or listening to these CDs can start in this business and literally make money very quickly without using money or credit, because both of those are forbidden in Planet Ron. We will not use our credit. We will not use our money. Sometimes you might use a little money, only if your intent is to get that money back with more money quickly. We do not bury money in real estate, but sometimes we do use it to turn it into larger amounts of money. Most of the time, we're going to get assets for free that we turn into cash and cash flow and create residual income in addition to big checks today. The entire pretty house business is terms. If there are no terms, there are no deal. We cannot pay people retail price for a beautiful home all cash. By the way, will any of them want all cash and full price? No way. Really? Just for the record, they all want all cash, full price. Every single one of them want that. But it's our job to give them an alternative and let the ones who want to decide that they'll take the alternative plan. I don't think I've ever talked to a seller that doesn't want all cash. I doubt you have either. So most of them, or all of them, want all cash, but some of them will take terms. By asking the seller questions, they make you the offer. You accept, deny, or counter. That simple. All right. There are 3 types of terms that you're going to construct down there on page 6. It's either going to be owner financing, or it's going to be lease purchase, or it's going to be takeover debt subject to. My favorite is taking over the debt because it's so simple. My second favorite is owner financing, almost as simple, but not quite. And my third favorite is lease purchase, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm always going to go for owner financing first and lease purchase as a secondary backup, because usually I'd much rather own the house than control it. When I own it, I am absolute total control. I own it. I don't need to talk to the seller. I don't need the seller's permission to do anything, and I never have to worry about the seller not following through with their promise like on a lease purchase. When I own it, it's mine. I'll show you some examples of that today on my deals, and you'll see by going through here that my first goal is to get them to say yes to owner financing. Second, after that, we'll talk about lease purchases. This house is located in Jacksonville, Florida, in Mandarin, right down the street from my home. And it is 3 years old. I don't know how many square feet, I can't remember. It's got 3 garages, 3-car garage, behind a gated community. Gated meaning there's a gate, there's no human at the gate, but there's a code for the gate. It's a new subdivision that they carved out of a blueberry patch, because I remember when it was a blueberry patch. And I don't know how many houses in it. There's probably maybe 50 houses in this subdivision, be my best guess. Now, seller responds to us, I believe from a yellow letter, I don't remember, and tells us that there is a debt on this property of $351,000, and that they are going to move in 2 weeks, moving to St. Louis. And they need to get out. And they've had it listed with a realtor now for 6 months. The realtor did not sell the property, and the listing was about to expire, but had a couple of weeks left on it. So I said to the seller, I cannot buy your house until that listing is released. So you got to get that done first. And he did. He got the realtor to send him an email saying we're releasing your listing. That's all I need to see. All right. He said, I'll sell for what I owe on it, which is what attracted me to it to begin with. He had it on the market for $385. It didn't sell. So I said, all right, I'll buy it for what you owe. Beautiful house. Nice new appliances in it. Even came with a big old washer and a dryer. And so I'm sitting at his kitchen table, And he said, I'll sell it for what I owe. I said, okay. Now I'm faced with two choices sitting right there. I'm actually faced with three choices. There's three ways I could buy this house. Number one, could I take it over subject to? He would have gladly deeded it to me, but I got to tell you, I don't think he would have understood what he was doing. He would have gladly deeded it to me if he'd done that. That's taking it over subject to, isn't it? Yes? All right. But in the conversation, I learned that within 2 or 3 years, he's going to go qualify for another loan. And to make it even worse, he was a veteran, and it's a VA loan. Now, I knew if he went to qualify for another loan and I took this house subject to, would he have a problem? Yes. You see, he has a $25 a month outgo that he has no income to cover if he sells me the house subject to. So he would not qualify for another loan. Now, he may not know that now, but he'd find out then, wouldn't he? And then he'd be on the phone with me and he'd be all mad. And so on my other two choices, I could have lease optioned the property from him, couldn't I? Well, then I wouldn't own it. It'd be a lease, and then I'd chase him down when it's time to get a deed. Plus, I knew that he could not claim more than 75% of the income toward his debt to wash out. He'd still have a $500 a month outgo above his income. He may still not qualify for a loan. Make sense? All right, third option, which is the one I decided to do, is to buy the house with a wraparound mortgage. If I buy the house with a wraparound mortgage and I don't pay, he can then foreclose, and he can now take my $1,925 payment and call it income to wash out his $1,925 debt. Make sense? That's the choice I take. I elected that choice. I don't know that he still knows why I did it, and nor does he care, but I did it solely to protect the sellers, which incidentally cost me $1,500 more in closing costs. Because in Florida, that's what it costs to create a new mortgage and record it. Literally $1,500 on that size note. Today, I still own that property on a wraparound mortgage from my land trust to that couple. From my land trust, not from me. My trustee signed, which is one of my corporations, signed as trustee, and I'm the beneficial interest with my wife, and the payment does not go to him, it goes directly to the bank. You can see why I wouldn't send the payment to him, right? Yeah, if you send the payment to a seller and they have no equity in the deal, what's likely to happen to the payment? Yeah, they might borrow it and forget to pay it back, right? So I send it directly to the bank. I even got him to sign something, giving me permission to do that, which is a little paragraph he signed at closing. So now we pay his bank direct. Now he's protected. I asked for 3 months before the first payment was due. We wound up with 2. So on the second month, I started making the $1,925 a month payment. And here's the rub. Here's the key. In the beginning of the third month, we found a tenant buyer who brought in $50,000 non-refundable option deposit and is currently living in this house. And I'm going to tell you guys, we turned down several with smaller amounts to get to the larger amount. And that's a decision that you need to remember when you're out here doing this on your houses. I knew that house would bring more than the $10,000 or $15,000 we were offered several times by people looking at this house. I'd rather make the $1,925 a month payment than take somebody in this beautiful home with less money than I know the market will bring. Hello? All right. And I was correct. $50,000 non-refundable deposit. Note the price, $395. The realtor couldn't sell it for $385. I sold it in 2 months. I didn't sell it. My team sold it. I didn't even know what was happening until Tish said, "Hey, we got somebody with $50,000. I said, "They're approved." They weren't quite approved. We did our due diligence on them, but hey, they were approved. I was sure hoping I didn't find something that I wouldn't like, and I didn't. So they're in the house. They're paying $2,500 a month rent, and remember our payment? $1,925. So we're getting $575 a month positive cash flow. I asked them, "How long do you want the term to be?" He said 2 years. I said, "Okay." Who made whom the offer? All right. Who made whom the offer? I named the price. They named the down. They named the payment. They named the term. I'm happy with all of them. And actually, they wanted to put less down. We got them up to 50. Once it slipped out of their mouth that they could go up to 50, that's all we heard. All right. So, good example of buying the house and then exiting it. I still own the house. I get to depreciate the house, and I don't never have to contact the seller again, ever, as long as they live. I don't need them to sign anything. They don't need to sign anything for me to pay off their debt.